tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What is up? Welcome back to another episode of The Tailgate Show. We're just gonna crack open a quick hitter here, and you know what we're gonna do? It's such a refreshing.
And we're gonna use a fucking koozie.
That's right. This is such a refreshing
on our Yeti koozies.
Delicious episode that we're gonna put a nice koozie on it to keep it cold and crispy for you. Damn it!
Using koozies, man.
I don't. B Diddy over here thinks that that koozies are like from the 50s and nobody uses them anymore. Little does he know, in the Midwest, the koozie game is strong.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, the whole thing started with an idea of handing out koozies. I'm like, that's like stuff you go to like any carnival, whatever, freaking fair. People are like trying to peddle their business koozies. Nobody uses them, man. They end up getting thrown out. Not around here. Anyway. Greg Braggs in the chat says, "Tell Brian to get his sunglasses on."
How dare you?
Yes, well, the show was late, and Brian took his contacts out.
Yeah, plus I was in the film room, Greg, and
yeah, he was breaking down, grinding the tape. You know how you do. So, if he puts on his sunglasses, he's Brian with the regular glasses.
Yeah, so
I can't. Come on, Clark.
This is 11:41 my time. So
is that like Karen with the good hair? What is that? Diddy with the regular glasses? What does that mean?
It's late my way, man. These are my old man glasses.
Greg's kicking off our new segment, throwing shade, right there.
Oh, really?
Well, he's throwing shade.
Lots of shade.
That shirt will be out soon.
Not only that. Anyway, so we're gonna get into it. And
ask Greg, man. Greg,
yeah,
you using koozies, bro? Like really?
Yeah.
Greg, tell him about koozies, that people use koozies for their beverages in the Midwest and all around the damn country. It's not just the Midwest.
Whatever. I don't get it.
Koozies. Yes.
Koozies.
That's what's up.
Anyway, people know tailgates and koozies. Yes, especially in the lake.
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
Shit gets cold in your hand.
That's right.
I drink whiskey before games. I don't drink beer, so.
So does Greg. Doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Greg
drinks
whatever you put in his hand if you do it right.
Right. Anyways.
That's my dog.
So
you have no point. Koozies are real. The koozie life is so serious.
Exactly. It's an easy tailgate gift.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the tailgate gift that keeps on giving at the tailgate.
So hopefully Matt Ryan doesn't look like Ryan Fitzpatrick looked tonight, right? Because Fitzpatrick looked like I don't know what, but he was running people over and not missing a freaking pass.
Dude, Matt Ryan looks good this year.
Yeah, really good.
He does. His footwork looks good. His ball delivery looks good. He's moving in and out of the pocket. He ran a couple of times against Dallas to convert first downs. New wrinkle. It's going to be could be a very tough game for our defense.
Yeah, I just think Greg mentions their right tackle is out. I just think that the pass rush is going to get to Ryan. I'm sorry. I just think that we are going to get 50 snaps out of Robert Quinn, and we're going to get to him. Yes, he had 25 last week. He's not limited in practice. He's practicing in full. I think we're going to get 50 snaps out of him, and I think he's going to. I think that's going to be the difference.
We need to get to him quick. We do. We have to be there.
Our coverage has to be tight too, I'm afraid, and that's scary because there's a lot of speed on that offense.
The Falcons Go ahead.
If Julio is healthy, it's a whole different dynamic. Because Fuller's not switching, so Jalen's gonna have his hands full. I think he can handle that battle somewhat, but Julio's pretty crafty if he's healthy. There was a hammy, right?
He's been a hammy. He's had a hammy, and he's been playing through it, but he supposedly aggravated it in the Cowboys game. My thing is this: the Falcons' injury list is like a mile long at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and so they got problems on the defense, they got problems on the offensive line. I don't think this is going to be an easy game. I mean, I said 28-24 Bears, but I just think that the pass rush is going to figure things out. And we heard Pagano today say that basically, they're admitting the fact that Trevathan is barely going to be on the damn field.
Well, his snaps were cut. What, he had like 41?
They were cutting snap. They were cutting half.
Well,
his snaps were cut in half
the second
from
quarter.
The first game.
The three safeties and the extra DBs were coming on second quarter.
We're not 3-4 much at all, so it's a choice between Danny and Roquan there, and Roquan's getting the bulk of those snaps. And Danny, I mean, I watched Danny went and watched coach's film and just focused on Danny. He's still part of he's in the offense's head. They're still focusing on him. They're still throwing guys on him. He is definitely lost a step though. There's no question.
He's lost 3 steps. He's washed. Like
I think he's got an injury they're not talking about. He's just not in shape or something. We need him to play.
I just think he went off a cliff. And I think we paid a bunch of money for an old leader, and that's what we got. We got an old leader guy.
But you could tell he's definitely still very vocal on the field. You see him like getting everybody in the
I mean, okay.
He had a couple of plays in the Giants game where it's like, okay, Danny, you looked okay there, but I mean, they're few and far right now. And I don't know if it's something between his ears going on or what, but he is not himself.
I mean, my thing is that the Falcons are a lot more than just Julio Jones. They are Hayden Hurst and Calvin Ridley. I mean, I put out a tweet that Calvin Ridley has 239 rushing yards by himself, or receiving yards by himself. A-Rob, Miller, and Mooney have 257 combined.
Oh yeah, he had. I mean, the first game he had like 3 receivers over 100 yards. I mean, that kid Gage is nasty too.
Yeah, we're all hot to trot over Mooney with 3 catches, and oh my god, he made a block.
Well,
I'll tell you what, there weren't many.
This kid Gage has 15 catches for 160 yards on the year.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm hype. I feel good about 2-0. I'm not trying to like piss on everybody's parade, but we're feeling ourselves a little too much. People are out here tweeting about how Cody Whitehair is one of the best centers in the league, and relax.
Yeah, and it took. I know you had an issue on Twitter, sorry to kind of cut in, but you get it. It seems like it's almost like the political world is kind of going into the sports world, where if you're not on an extreme side of something, you have no voice, right? And we've been fans a long time, and that doesn't mean our opinion's more valid. It just means we're at a different place in our fandom than some people. Where I've been waiting for a franchise quarterback my whole life. I started following the Bears '85. It's been a long time, and it's just your journey's different when you've been waiting so long. So it's not that we're being super negative with Mitch. We will point out the deficiencies because we're looking for certain things. We all want him to be a franchise quarterback, right? We'll all be there for it. We're just waiting to see it. So if we're critiquing him, it doesn't mean we're haters. It just means we want him to be great.
Right. We want him to, but it's like we've seen how many guys have we seen? We've been through all these guys, I know that some of these people on Twitter are like 15, 16 years old, or they act like it. And it's like, this is their first journey into Bears quarterback suck life.
Everybody's at a different place in their fandom, but.
Right. I get it. I'm just saying, when you see Baldinger break down that play, and it's like Nagy is doing everything in the world for this guy. He's sending guys in motion. Yep. If the guy follows him, it's not difficult. If the guy follows him, they're in man. If he doesn't, they're in zone. It's not difficult. like, you need to understand where your outlets are, and he still doesn't know where his damn outlets are. And you have guys who are who are in open green grass with their arms up, and he's looking the other way, getting sacked. Like
he did escape some pockets that were good, and he got that's one of the sacks that he took was he escaped a good pocket. He just got nervous and left. But I will say that the play actions helped him a lot. I think he's a hell of a lot better out of play action.
Absolutely, it has. But
he needs to carry out his face a little better.
You know what?
But
But here we are. Asking ourselves, and you have to ask yourself, what the fuck did we get Foles for? And we see that Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Talk article that's like a total fluff piece about how Foles is preparing them for the other teams and using his expertise, and he's another coach and this, that, and the other. And it's like, I've defended the Foles pickup, but if we got Foles to run this offense, that would have been a disaster because that's not what he's ever done well. No. Foles is the guy who stands back in the shotgun and surveys the field and runs the RPO. Foles is not. I mean, I'm not saying Foles couldn't do what Mitch is doing, but I'm just
definitely succeeding what they're running right now. It's just you're.
I just want to know if when Mitch gets hurt, if he gets hurt, not that I hope he does, are they going to run this offense with Foles, or do they really have like a whole separate package? Pause for Foles.
I would not be surprised if they have a whole separate package for Foles. I wouldn't be.
Well,
I think he'd be fine running this, but I think and I always felt this way. They brought Foles in case you need to break glass for emergency. If Mitch doesn't pan out, they weren't going to Chase. If Mitch doesn't pan out, they will go to Nick. That's the reason they brought him in, and
he's already bought himself time. Mitch has bought himself to the bye week now.
Yeah,
with 2 wins.
No, if he throws 4 picks, I wouldn't say that. Like if he looks really bad. And you can't blame drops or whatever, and by the way, there haven't been that many drops. Like everybody's suddenly an expert on what's a drop and what's not a drop. I'll trust the official scorers and the analytics nerds on this. There haven't been that many drops. Mitch has been very inaccurate. I mean, there was somebody put out a stat that Allen Robinson has caught 100% of the accurate passes that have been thrown to him. But this season, he's been thrown 44% accurate passes.
Well, Mitch is second in the league with inaccurate throws for quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's him and Haskins and who else?
Wentz is first, yeah.
Right. It's just the guy is, showing signs, but please, let's just not crown his ass yet. Like, I don't understand.
What I will say, this is the biggest place where I saw the improvement from going back and watching the film was his pre-snap stuff is a lot further ahead than it was last year. Last year we were dealing with Nagy and his helmet. He is processing things. He is looking over the defense. You can see his head turning. He's shifting guys. He's reading that. It's the post-snap stuff that still needs a lot of improvement, in my opinion, because he's locking in the Mooney play. The Mooney play for the touchdown, perfect progression reading. He's looking around. He's being patient. That play all came. That was a really good example of some growth. But generally, he's locked, and especially on A-Rob, man. Like he is laser focused. There's guys wide open. A-Rob's got like 2 guys on him. He's forcing that thing in. Like that. Those are things that need to improve. The post-snap stuff needs to improve, but pre-snap, I have seen a lot of improvement.
Right, but you said yourself after the Giants game, how wobbly his passes look.
The delivery is weird on some of them.
And I'm sorry, the Mooney play, cool, yeah, great, but he also had about a week to throw.
Well, he manipulated the pocket. He rolls right. He rolls
but he also kind of
didn't even have to. That was a good pocket.
That's what I'm saying is he didn't. He thought about bailing a perfectly good pocket, then realized he didn't have to. Then he realized that there was still nobody on him. I mean, and then he was like, "Oh shit, there's Mooney. I'll throw it." And great, it worked out. I'm just like, to me, it's like I see that, and it doesn't scream like, "Oh boy, he's figured it all out." Like, I mean, we've seen him do similar stuff.
So
to that.
we've decided Mitch is Mitch.
Well, I think the offense is better. I'll say it again
That
and
offensive
again.
line is
The offensive line is
considerably better. I think.
Yes, the offensive line is playing much better. They are competing. They're not giving up penalties. They're running the ball. I still so yes, I think the offense that they're running right now with Mitch is better. And what we can hope is that Mitch can become the win with guy. We can win with him.
Like the first half Mitch. We want first half Mitch.
Yeah. I mean, which is a combination. It means that, Montgomery's making big plays. They even asked him, I think it was today or yesterday, what's the difference when you guys are able to run the ball? And Mitch is like, well, the defense is off balance. There's bigger windows, I still think ultimately teams are daring him to throw. I mean, you saw how many times the Giants dropped 8. I mean, they still want this guy to throw.
Yeah, but the one thing is with Atlanta, they're not a very good pass defense at all.
No, they're terrible.
It should be a week.
And you can get them with the run too, because you saw Dallas do it.
Well, their run defense is,
and that's Dallas. That's not a good.
It's better than their pass defense. I'll say that.
That's not a great Dallas offensive line like it has been in years past.
No,
it's good.
So I don't know.
They're a weird 0-2 though, because they face Dak and they face Russ. You know what I mean? It's not like they're facing bums here. Like I still think their offense. Their offense, if we give them the same chances we've given the last 2 teams, we're going to be in trouble. I will say that.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan is a different animal than Stafford and Jones.
Buster Screen, Deion Bush, they're going to be having some interesting coverage things happen this week. They're going to be tested.
Yeah, and then that all depends if Julio's not playing. Now it's
if he's not, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think it does.
I mean, it matters a little bit, but
even as a decoy, you have to respect him.
It matters.
Speed, and they've got it in bunches.
Yep.
And
I think one place they're vulnerable, I think, is if we really need to utilize our tight ends this game, because that's somewhere we can really hurt their defense. I'd really like to see if
where are the tight ends? That's been a big no-show. Like I know they've Nagy's all high on their blocking and they've been doing some blocking. I know Mitch has missed.
Give me some more commit, man.
He missed a couple of.
He missed. Mitch has already missed 2 that I can think of tight end touchdowns, probably.
Yeah, he did have the good throw to. Oh God,
Komet. He had Komet had a 12-yard catch,
and he had the one where he
had a Graham rollout
route where he looked him off and threw over top of the coverage.
And that if Miller
which
caught
is a progression for him.
Miller caught that ball in the end zone though. It also changes how the game plays out. Also, I mean that was a big drop there, and that was a really perfect throw by Mitch. Like that had. There was no wobbliness. That was a dime.
No, it was his best throw of the day, probably.
Yes.
You
couldn't put it any better.
That's just our luck right now.
And Mooney, man, that kid is impressive.
He done told Ted Ginn to hit it.
Well, he's got a little veteran kind of thing going with him, like to come back to the ball and be that. He's a heads-up kid. Like he's got a ton of potential, and I understand why fans are excited. I know it's
we're excited. I just don't understand. Like we get excited, but it's like let me see something. Like I want to see something. I want to see 5 catches, 75 yards. I'm not, like 3 catches, 38 yards is not getting me all hot and bothered.
Yeah, that's not his fault though.
Well, with this offense, I would expect that you're not going to see 85, 90, 95 yards pass receiving.
I mean, we only ran 65 plays against the Giants. That's bad. Like, we need to be up around 80 plays, Like,
what was the time of possession? I don't have those numbers.
We were winning time of possession.
With as much as we were running the ball, you think we should have been.
Yeah, we were.
I don't want to, I don't want to start playing the woulda, shoulda, coulda game already. Like, it's like, I mean, we've done it already. I just look at Atlanta and I think I look at them and I think that the defense should be able to get to Matt Ryan, and that doesn't mean that we're going to hold Matt Ryan to under 20 points. I don't believe that, but I just think, that they can make a long day for him.
And he knows it's coming too, and he's a very smart quarterback. Like,
sure is.
He is. He's crafty. Like, we're gonna have our hands full, especially if Julio's healthy. Because it really depends. Like, we need our offense to click, like fully click. And if that's happening and our defense is not out there.
I mean, I think the best thing the offense can do is absolutely not get in a shootout and run the ball. I mean, if we end up playing a full ball control offense and keep Matt Ryan off the field, that's the best case scenario.
And like Bragg said earlier, injuries on paper, yes, they're injuries. We really should dominate them with our talent, but the
injuries are tricky because you don't have tape on guys that are injured that are coming off the bench.
Right, but their defense does come out fast.
Right,
they're not able to maintain that for a full game.
Well, it's funny. A-Rob called them an AAU team on defense, and he sort of was. I was just like, wait, what does that mean? And he's, he just said that they have a lot of guys who are trying to get turnovers. And the way I took that to mean is like it's a bunch of mercenaries who haven't played together a lot and are trying to get their own stats,
right.
Which is kind of the case. I mean, I don't know where they got Takaris McKinley, who's okay. I
think McKinley's hurt too.
Right. He's been on the injury report. I just, it's going to be a weird game, and I have a hard time, I can't honestly say that, I'm going to look at the schedule and see a time where I pick the Bears to win by a lot. I just don't, I think those two games have already passed.
It's an interesting matchup because you have two teams that really haven't put full quarters together. And you have a quarterback in Matt Ryan that's light years ahead of Mitch, but because of the injuries, we don't know how that's going to affect what he's trying to do either. We got him defensively? We're better. It's just we don't know what Mitch is going to show up, and that's kind of you don't know. If 4 quarters of Mitch, we could dominate them. If he's on, we're good.
Well, I've seen some people saying maybe this will be like the Tampa game, and I know. I'd
take it.
I could
sure
see
we
it.
would take it, but I don't know. Like, and at the same time, like you look at them and it's like we want to say, well, what if that crazy onside kick thing doesn't happen and they beat Dallas?
Well, I mean, Calvin Ridley was getting pretty open. I mean, I'm sorry, Cooper. Amari Cooper was burning them. I mean, you got a guy with Mooney's speed on turf, and he's comfortable. He's getting comfortable. Yeah.
I think that the Bears should be able to beat them handily, but will they? I have no clue. Again, we just have no clue. I think if Robert Quinn plays the whole game, and I think the defense we're starting to get to the point where we know what defense is going to show up. I feel like.
Time of possession stats. Sorry. Bears 34 minutes 29 seconds. Giants 25 minutes 31 seconds.
Sorry, I'm breaking down film.
So
that's amazing that like we only ran 65 plays with that many.
That's called running the ball, man. That's what running the ball does, man.
Right.
It shortens the game, which is exactly what they want to do. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do against Atlanta.
Right. And I want to, like, I'd be fine with it. Like, if we just run the ball, like, I want to see more Cordarrelle, more Tariq, more David Montgomery. And that's just going to be less. That's just going to be less than everybody else. I mean, and that is what it is. But if Matt Ryan stays off the field and Julio Jones stays off the field, then I don't know. Are we worried about Todd Gurley?
Should we be? Speed.
You got to respect him.
Well, we got our big man in the middle now.
Well, yeah. So if you haven't caught up, John Jenkins has a torn thumb ligament and is on the IR. Which
Copy and paste that shit, bro.
hmm?
Copy and paste that. Just fucking rip it and stick it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't need another guy playing with a big mitten. We've seen how that goes.
Yeah.
But so they signed this literal monster, 6'7", 352 pounds out of Tennessee that's been bumping around Pittsburgh for the last 5 years and hasn't really played a lot. But he's big. He's like Ted Washington big. So
He's not. He's not Snacks elite though.
No, he's not Snacks.
Was it the Lions fans when they got Snacks? They were like, he's elite. Like,
yeah, Lions fans told us that Snacks was a better acquisition than Khalil Mack. That's just the pure insanity of Lions fans. Like the pure glue huffing, like meth in your cereal insanity that is Lions fans to even come up with that total horse shit.
I expect our defense to be dominant, though. I do agree with you on that. Like, I think.
I don't know about dominant. I just think they're gonna get to the quarterback. I mean, if
the first two quarterbacks we held to under 80 rating, but Ryan had 126 rating last week.
What I saw is from both the Lions game and the Giants game is that we got to the quarterback, but the quarterback got flushed out and made plays. That's not Matt Ryan's game. Now, can he make throws and read defenses and do all these things and throw quick? Absolutely. But Stafford killed us rolling out, getting yards, and rolling out and throwing. So did Daniel Jones. He made big plays, especially on third down, getting flushed out of the pocket.
Well, he saved a sack. He saved a Quinn sack. He had him dead to rights, flips it out, and it's a 15-yard gain.
Absolutely. So I don't see Matt Ryan, and not to say that he can't do some of that. I just don't think consistently he's going to be able to do it. Now, I don't think we're going to see this McCullers guy in the game right away. I'd be surprised.
You might see him.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, our boy Mario Edwards got in there for 8 snaps.
Yeah, he did. And he made an impact. He caused for the stunt. He made the stunt and took out the tackle. So Quinn could come around.
We got the good Brawl Network subscription to the PFF Elite. So I went against my normal druthers and went on a deep dive into some PFF badness.
I got some foil if you need it.
Listen, PFF. Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I think PFF is pretty useful on defense because on defense you can pretty well tell what was supposed to happen. I think where you get into a lot of murky area with PFS, which is basically just putting a number score to an opinion, is on offense because how can you know exactly where the guy was supposed to be? I think that's where it gets very murky to say, this receiver is doing such and such. You don't know what he's supposed to be doing. With defense, it's like, okay, he's in the area. Did he make a play? I think some of their stuff in terms of like offensive line, defensive line, like pass blocking win rates. I mean, that stuff is like, it's very subjective. I mean, at the end of the day, all that shit is extremely subjective. Like, and then they just throw a number grade to it. But some of the highest rated defensive line play, according to them, graded is by Bilal Nichols and Brent Urban.
I don't know about
the Bears. Good. Woo.
Well, they are talking highly about Mitch, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's a real departure from them because they normally love to crush Mitch.
Yeah,
Nichols had a hell of a play.
I see the retweets when they put stuff out about the Bears, and I see all the hate when it's just who cares? It's just stat crushing.
Nichols made a hell of a play on the screen pass after the sudden change where we turn it over. They throw an inside screen. Nichols stays home and reads it completely and just blows it up. It's like that's the shit that gets you the big PFF points. That's a guy reading the offensive line, reading the running back keys, staying home. That's
It's
awesome.
Well, and it's like stuff like
Now Urban did get bitch slapped on that 4th and 1. He got 3 yards put back.
but back to Bilal and
Sorry.
Urban. If you think about it, no, I mean I don't care. I'm not sitting here gonna talk PFF like I'm some. I'm just saying like it's interesting fodder for conversation on Twitter and whatnot. But what I'm saying is that if you think about watching the game, you really John Jenkins has been bad. Like
He's not been
he
bad.
hasn't done anything. He hasn't even hold up. He's been bad. So
Sure.
I would like to see. I don't think his thumb is what is the problem. Like I mean maybe, but he was bad in the Detroit game, and I don't think Akeem's played decent, but there's been plenty of times where he was pretty handled by Detroit, and he played better against the Giants. And both games he had important plays. So I'm not totally crapping on Akeem, but
I mean, JPP comes out looking like freaking penguin.
So can we start doing a deep dive into DVOA? Because that's what I really find intriguing.
Yeah. If you want
Go
to
for
do
it.
that, I don't. We
Kill
gotta get the Brawl Network Football Outsiders.
There we go.
G-Dub Carrot says Jalen Johnson is dominating. I don't know if
Yeah.
I go dominating, but he's
He's-
playing well.
He's playing good tight man coverage.
For a rookie, he's
And he's all over the field. I mean, he's all over the field. I mean, hopefully he
I would
doesn't.
say this is the best rookie corner performance since Peanut's rookie year.
I would
Peanut
also
looks
say this
really
is
good. He got a lot of PIs that year. I think he got like 8 in his rookie year, but his coverage was so good.
This is going to be his biggest challenge this season
Yes,
too.
we're going to see how good he is.
I think he'll step up. I mean, he's definitely not scared. I mean, both these dudes, Mooney and Jalen, are extremely confident.
How terrified are
which
you
is
of Hayden
cool.
Hurst running across the middle against either Danny Trevathan?
He's good. He's
I am-
solid, man.
I'm not. I mean, it's really. It's just in what situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think if they go to that on first down, then I think they might find something there. You know what I mean? Like if I'm the Falcons, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Is I'm looking for Hayden Hurst on quick hitters right over the middle, and right at Danny Trevathan. I'm running Hayden Hurst right at Danny Trevathan on first down, and I'm going to throw it to him, 5-7 yard slants, and get the ball out before the pass rush can get there. And,
It's a little homecoming for Wims and Roquan too.
You got brother battle too.
Georgia
You
Dome.
got the Ridley brothers.
And Riley Ridley, is that guy even on the team?
He is on.
Like that dude is like Tanner Gentry at this point. Like, get out of here, Riley Ridley.
Question:
Tell me more about his amazing route running. Like, get out of here. That dude is like Ghost. Like,
if you're him, do you give up secrets on your brother to your teammates?
what
If you have any-
secrets?
If you know that he does something,
I don't think. Number one, I don't think he has any secrets. But two, yes. Like, of course, you're trying to win. But I don't think he's even going to get on the field. I mean, Javon Wims, I gotta give it to him. He's blocking.
well, he was one of the few that were blocking.
Yeah, I like when Wims
Mooney.
is called upon. He's been doing a good job.
Mooney blocked and Wims blocked. Robinson had a bad game.
Jared,
Yes,
He had a bad game.
he's
blocking.
not a blocker, but I mean, he's never been
Gotta
like
be.
a great blocker.
he's no Jimmy Graham, but
No.
But
course
he's
not.
but he also had the key block on that fourth down in the Lions game. I mean, when he needs to, he does. And we talked about this already. But it's like I don't want to hear Bears fans throw him under the bus on a touchdown run about how he didn't do enough. What else was he supposed to do exactly? The guy ran for a touchdown. You also don't want to get called for a stupid penalty.
True.
So once a running back passes you, it's like the play's over. You saw other receivers like trying to get out of the way because you could have guys flopping or trying to set you up for a clip, and then what? Then you get a penalty. So it's like I love how Twitter this week was full of wide receiver blocking experts. just going at Allen Robinson. Like, get out of here. This guy is our best offensive player.
My point was he just had a bad game. That's all.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're never going to see like an amazing blocking game from Allen Robinson. That's not his game.
I give A-Rob a break, man. Like I said, there was some comment about I forget who was it, Sleep Expert or something, about how A-Rob's not backing Mitch publicly. It's like this dude lays his freaking career on the line sometimes for overthrown balls. He makes highlight catches. Guy's
probably saved 20 interceptions for Mitch.
Yeah,
with the way he's dove for balls when
Mitch throws an 80-20 ball, sometimes it's not going to work.
Right. I mean,
who's the 80 and who's the 20?
Yeah.
and
it should be a 50-50 ball. But
A-Rob had a great quote about what he's doing for Anthony Miller, because Anthony Miller had a terrible game and he disappeared. I mean, and they blamed him for that third down play, said he didn't run the right depth or whatever. And it's like, okay, we're back to this, huh? So,
I expect our defense to get better every week, though.
That's what I think. I think the defense is – I feel like the defense is trending in the right direction, and as long as Quinn is in the game, a lot, I think we'll be okay.
And hopefully it's the same for Mitch. Hopefully he gets better every week. He did show the improvement in the first half. I mean the
third down conversions.
Yep.
That was every week we've focused on one thing and we've done it better. What's the one thing you think this week that we need to focus on and do better versus Atlanta?
Just a more continuous read of his progressions and seeing things. If your first read is covered too tightly, look for your outlet, because we saw the one play where Tariq was. I mean, you're talking setup for a potential touchdown. Tariq was so
either a touchdown or a sideline. There ain't no in between.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, if he can just start processing things a little quicker, that's what I want to see.
I think like everything's set up right now for him for things to be simple.
This is a defense you could go off on.
They're literally running high school plays for him right now. Quarterback runs and crap like that. So
have you guys had a chance to listen to Hogan Johns this week?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually pretty good. They bring in Mike Tice's boy, and he discusses, like a lot of the offenses are reverting back to a simpler offense because you're dealing with freak athletes that are used to outrunning and outthrowing.
Look what the Niners did last year.
Yeah. I mean, so this is actually just more back to a basic style of football so they can kind of grasp the concepts.
Nagy wouldn't be doing this if Mitch was progressed further into the learning the offense.
A lot of quarterbacks can't do it. That's the point.
Right. Well, the other thing, it's not just the quarterbacks; it's the receivers.
Yeah.
Like, I think the issue a lot of times is the receivers, because there's so many options on these routes, and then you have to be perfect with it, And then, like we've said before, being under center helps his footwork, or it should help his footwork. Whereas when he's back there in shotgun, it's all happy feet all the time. So.
You want a lesson on footwork? I'm seriously go watch Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's footwork is amazing.
Oh, he's a technician. He's a great quarterback.
Well, I watched the first two games this week, and he's the best quarterback we've played all season.
Yep. I mean, this year is definitely going to be a test. I mean, the list of quarterbacks they played last year was atrocious. They played some horrible quarterbacks last year, and we're not getting that this year. We're going to play some decent. I mean, it looks like Kirk Cousins is a tire fire, but you're getting Matt Ryan,
$84 million.
I think Matt Ryan's. You're getting Matt Ryan.
Phillip Rivers is next, and then Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm not that scared of Phillip Rivers, but Tom Brady is finding his stride right now.
Yeah, but this really is a defense. I just don't want to get overconfident, but this is a defense that Mitch should ball out against.
Right. I mean, I'm not overconfident. I don't think 28-24 is overconfident. I mean, you guys think the Bears are going to win by 10 or more?
No. I think it's
I think-
probably going to be 24-20, maybe. If we can get to 24.
It's so hard to predict this one. I don't.
Yo, are you going?
Yeah,
You going the dark side?
I don't want to, but I just can see. It's Mitch could totally dominate this game. I just don't know. Like if you had to put money on it, I don't know. Because it all depends. It's all on how Mitch plays. Because I think our defense is going to keep us in any game.
What I think is that the silver lining of Mitch's uneven play is that it keeps Nagy from installing one of his Mitch pass happy game plans.
Right.
Like, because he doesn't trust him. Like, and it sounds crazy, but it's like, I don't want Mitch to have a Tampa game because that was like the worst thing that ever happened because it made everybody think that he was somebody that he wasn't.
I love it.
I'm going to take a minute. We're going to take a second right now. We're at 40 minutes into our podcast. Let's take a minute and think about number 40, Gale Sayers, and the passing. God bless that man. Alzheimer's and dementia is a hell of a way to go.
Yeah.
And to see him, like you guys saw him at the 100-year, you're lucky you got to see him. A shell of the man that he was.
It was an emotional moment, man.
I'm sorry. I wanted to try to do that.
No, that's fine. I mean, don't be sorry.
I feel like the
we
dude
need to
doesn't
talk
get enough
about it.
credit. I mean, you look behind you, you've got his jersey hanging.
Yep. Man,
You
it was when we did see him at the 100-year. It was emotional, and you probably got one of the loudest ovations of the night.
As he should.
And that,
Yeah, I mean, it was weird. It was weird. I mean, it was, you saw, Fridge in a wheelchair going down the red carpet, and you see slumped over, Gale Sayers in a wheelchair who basically didn't seem like he even knew where he was. I mean,
I didn't.
quite honest. Like,
I watched that Buckus and Sayers documentary they had on the NFL Network, and I realized, watching it at the moment when it first came out, I didn't realize how far it had progressed. You could see his wife actually cueing him as to, memories of football and things like that. He was fighting it then.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but I mean, the guy
that we got that much out of him.
The guy was poetry in motion, man. He
Poetry in
was just
motion.
so
He
smooth.
ran a university. He ran an athletic department in Southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Major computer wizard. What is it, Fortune 500 dude at one point there or something like that. He did really well, and then he had a bad stutter that he had to also overcome. So, and he's pushed public speaking for kids that have learning difficulties in inner cities. That guy leaves a hell of a legacy.
He does, and that special with Buckus when they did that, like they talked to him about his knee injury.
Oh man, doesn't that choke you up?
Yeah, like he's
Every
like if they would have had the technology they have now, how far things have come medically, like I would have been fine. But he got choked up.
Every time
like,
I see that,
man, the guy
it
had
gets
a
you right in the fucking heart because he's like, I had the technology these kids have now, nobody would have touched him.
Well, and he's another thing that about the Bears in their history that transcended the game because of Brian's song. And, prior to 85, that's another thing that created a lot of the Bears fan base,
Which is weird. So my dad being a Packer fan, watched that movie, named me after because of that movie, Brian. Like that was
wow.
Which is weird because he's a Packer fan, but that movie moved a lot of people, regardless of who they're
right. And so, but what's funny is that, not funny, but kind of tragic, is that he's another Bears great that never played in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Like
him and Buckus.
Yes, like great players that played on bad teams, and even that they were talking about when he had that great game, and then Baltimore ended up winning, knocking them out of the playoffs. They had a chance to go to the playoffs after that game, but Baltimore won and knocked them out of the playoffs. So
that's as close as they ever got with that team.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, great player, great man. More importantly than a great player, too. Obviously, a great ambassador. And as much as the Bears have not been blessed with good quarterbacks, I mean, you look at the run that they had with him and then Peyton going from
And then we go from Peyton to Neil Anderson, who did
60s, 70s, 80s. Like, from the mid 60s to the 70s to the 80s, you had like an unmatched run of running back supremacy.
Butkus gave him the ultimate compliment where he basically said, "I became a better player from just practicing against the guy." Like, he was incredible. He really was.
Yeah, it was just like a kind of like, you don't even need to play. It's just like give it to Gale and everybody get out of the way.
Right.
Like, because he was just that much faster, quicker, smoother than everybody else. I mean, everybody else looked like they were in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Open field cuts. Full stride, open field cut, changing direction. He transcended his generation. He could play now. That style still has a place now. And he wasn't small. He was a big guy. Was he 6 something, 6'1"? Not a small running back. But today.
Yeah, so rest in peace to him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was 77 and obviously had a tough last few years of his life. So, it's one of those things where it's like, you're sad, but at the same time, it's like, he's also free from that.
Free from the jail cell that is his body.
And you brought that up on the Twitter page. Like, I hope they rock the all whites with the helmet, the white C.
Yeah, please, that would be awesome. Like, and I know it'd probably have to be on the road because that's how it works. But, like, why not? They already did the white C. All they would have to do is just, put on the white pants and
do it to it.
Like, it wouldn't be that difficult. Like, I don't think it'd be for this game, but it sure would be cool if they would do it. I mean, we've been wanting all whites for a while, but this, what a more fitting. Just because there are so many pictures of him in the all whites, and that did get a lot of traction on Twitter. So hopefully, maybe, I know, thanks to Waddle, Sylvie retweeted it. And, I was just throwing it out there to everybody. And even unrelated, Pat Finley had a tweet, saying that would be a fitting tribute. So hopefully it gets to where it needs to get to. I mean, somebody was saying that, they already announced the schedule. It's like, so what? Put some white pants on. It isn't that different. Like, even if they don't do the white C and change the stickers on the helmets, like, you could still throw the white pants on,
Yeah, buddy.
Like, it
isn't. And that's a tight look.
Deal.
I think the last time I saw him do that was in Hester. Was that at the Rams game where they did that?
I know there wasn't there a Thursday night where they did
Yeah, that was a color that when they were doing
color rush, but it was like the all whites. I remember Urlacher wearing them. There's.
I want to think Hester took 2 back against the Rams in the white on whites.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely Hester definitely showed up in them, for sure. There's some good pictures of Forte in the white and the all whites too. Manly
memories. All right.
Yeah, so
do we got a final score prediction for this one?
I already said 28-24 Bears.
24-20 Bears. I don't feel good about it.
I feel good about it.
You're the last one.
I like the defense.
You, Brian. You.
He wants to do it. He wants to pick the Falcons.
Go ahead.
Fucking guy.
Pick the fucking Packers, why don't you? God.
I just don't buy this whole back against the wall thing with
31-24 Bears.
Oh.
Wow. How are we getting to 31? You got a defensive score on there? Is Eddie going to make good?
Yeah, why not?
Is that really what you feel, or did we pressure you into that?
I can't. It's too hard to tell with this one because it could go sideways very, very quickly. But I think that I think that
Dallas
this could be a big game
they
for Mitch too.
Dallas did everything they could to give them that game, and Atlanta's like, no, we don't want it.
Right.
4 turnovers in the first quarter.
Yeah,
They capitalized on like all of them.
The Falcons are kind of the Lions South, like in a lot of ways. So
who you bang is a hell of a kicker though.
Who?
Coup.
Young boy Koo.
Oh, there it is. Double.
Anyway, there it is. Good times. So that's it. This is a
quick hitter. 50 minutes
for us.
I dropped the mic, huh?
Falcons preview. It's still a 12 o'clock game.
Run the damn ball.
Supposedly, we're actually going to get Kenny Albert, not weekend at Bernie's Dick Stockton. So it's going to be the crew we were supposed to get for Detroit. But
I like that Tampa Bay game for Mitch. Let's see that.
You think? I don't think so.
I'm ready for it.
I think it's going to be a big. I think this is a Tariq. I think this is a game where Tariq gets a breakout. I think we see. The tight ends involved.
I think this is a game we could blow them out. But if just
bold, very bold strategy, Cotton. What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say that basically I think this is a game we could totally blow them out, but if we let them hang around like we have the last 2 weeks and it's Ryan with the game on the line, this is not going to end very well. So I think
right, yeah, I don't want to see Matt Ryan driving down the field.
Exactly.
It's not going to end well for us.
David,
my bold prediction is I think Cordarrelle Patterson gets a kickoff return for a touchdown. I think we get a strip sack out of Khalil Mack. And I think
Kmet had a pretty big game last time we played Georgia, right? I'm gonna go with a Kmet coming out game.
Did you just drop a "we" that covered the Bears and Notre Dame? Good God.
You, not we. I got one for you.
The dome is so bright. It's so bright.
Big.
David Montgomery rushes 25 plus times for over 100 yards. 2 touchdowns.
I like that.
Big game for Kmet.
So what does that mean? 2 catches for 25 yards?
No, 4 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown.
Dogging on my Jordan Howard. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns.
Dude, he has 11 yards on 13 carries. He's so washed.
He's efficient.
He's so washed. Cito Gasson is playing running back for them or something. I don't even know who. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Another episode of Tailgate Show.
The Bears.
The Bears gonna win.
3-0.
The Koozies.
Don't forget
3-0.
Koozies.
The Koozies.